Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever, whenever you are. Welcome to the Cover Zero podcast. Cover Zero is going to be replacing the name Free State Sports. We are still the Free State Sports podcast, but we just thought we kind of have a little fun here. Today we're here with a full amount of Free State Sports podcast hosts. We have Mike and we have Saiquan here. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. Would have been a little bit better if we didn't just watch the Chiefs win. They're going to the Superbowl again.
I'm doing good as well. Can't complain.
I feel as though I for one was rooting for Josh Allen and the Bills, but I picked the Chiefs to win because it's hard not to pick against Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
He's just too good in the playoffs, and we just witnessed it again.
Sure did.
We're gonna dive more into that later. But first, a word from our sponsors. No, I'm kidding.
They have a new name and sponsors on a roll.
No, actually, first and foremost, let's cover some things that happened in the divisional weekend, as we had a couple matchups that didn't go favorably of who we ended up picking. One in particular, but we'll get there. First off, we had the Texans and the Chiefs. Did you guys catch this game?
I did.
I did not.
I watched it. It went about how I expected it to be honest with you.
Oh, for sure.
C.J. Stroud played with a lot of heart, but like he said, the Chiefs are just too clutch in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, so the Texans went into Arrowhead and put up a fight, but that fight was just nearly not enough. They put up only 14 points this game, and when I say only, I mean really, it was 12 points.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs took that last second safety to end the game, which I'm still confused why they did it. They were already up 2 scores. There was really no possibility the Texans were to come out. My only thought is they were point shaving. Now, it's not an accusation. That is just, I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe.
Right.
Couldn't silly me and my game theories. But that's just the theory. C.J. Stroud kind of struggled this game. In total, 19 of 28, 245 yards, and I think he had a pick. Mahomes went 16 of 25 for 177 and a touchdown. Mixon, pretty decent game, 18 carries, 88 yards. Travis Kelce went off on this game. He accounted for 117 of Patrick Mahomes' 177 yards.
Damn.
That is a vast majority. Accounted for 7 catches out of Mahomes' 16 completions. What were your guys' biggest takeaways from this game?
I think this is where the Chiefs really turned it up and reminded people, specifically the duo of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, reminded people who they were and what they were capable of in the playoffs. The Texans didn't look too great. Like I said, there was no real surprise for me in this game. Texans did put up a respectable effort, but I know the Chiefs just looked like the regular postseason Chiefs that we're used to.
That's absolutely a fair point. Saquon, do you have any takeaways?
Yeah, these were not the same Texans that we're used to, all due to the fact that, Tank Dell was out, as well as Stephon Diggs. You could see as the game progressed that CJ was struggling, wasn't sure what to do as the turnover battle was progressively growing and him trying to be comfortable in the pocket, but it just wasn't happening. Just to Michael's point, additionally, these are the Chiefs we know come playoff times. We see a different level of the Chiefs, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, the offense, and the defense. Not what I expected, because if I'm correct, we all assumed that the Texans were going to go further in the playoffs, but to see them go out the way they did, it was disappointing.
I definitely had the Texans getting knocked out against the Chiefs for this game specifically. I don't think their team's really built for the playoffs right now. As Mike noted before, their wide receiver core is pretty banged up.
Yeah, they didn't look like they did last year at all this season.
No, they didn't. Moving on to one of the biggest surprises of Wild Card Weekend, the Commanders came away with divisional weekend. The Commanders came out with a 45-31 victory over Detroit Lions. This definitely surprised me. This surprise any of you guys?
Absolutely. The Lions were, when we did our midseason power rankings, Lions were my number 2. I think they were Andrew's number 2 as well.
Yep.
So I'm glad to see the Commanders made it as far as they did, and it was really cool watching them this season, and Jaden Daniels in particular, who had a pretty good game, almost 300 yards passing that game. He looked really, really good against Jared Goff, who threw 3 interceptions, did not look very good.
No, he did not.
Lions, just too many mistakes, and we've heard that more often than not, almost every single time in the playoffs in the NFL, the team that turns the ball over the most is the team that loses the game. So this just goes to show you the team that plays cleaner football is going to usually win the game in the playoffs. Commanders were on fire in this one.
Yeah.
They looked really good. Did not expect the Lions to be dismantled like that.
No.
Me neither.
Very painful to watch. Go ahead, Saquon.
Yeah. No, it was very disappointing. I did expect more. I was one of the select few people that said that Dan Campbell's play calling could result in turnovers or high risk, but to a degree, it wasn't Dan Campbell's fault that the game ended the way it did. I didn't expect Jared Goff to come into the game and throw 3 interceptions. Didn't expect, I forgot whom it was. I don't know if it was the running back or wide receiver that threw an interception. I didn't have this going in Washington's favor. We don't see too often a rookie quarterback making it to the playoffs and go this far deep into the hunt. So for them to come out into Detroit and put this showing off was impressive. It was incredible. It was dismantling. It was embarrassing to a degree, but I don't think the Lions should hang their heads low. They did a great job this season. I hope Dan Campbell continues to do what he has done. I hope that he's able to bring these guys back next year. If not, then I'm sure he's going to figure it out. But this is a great team to have.
That's fair. And another thing important to note is the Lions were very, very banged up.
Yeah, they made it really far with a lot of people on IR.
Yeah, and including their star defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Who should have been a first overall pick in the draft, but was taken with one person ahead of him. That's neither here or there. I expect the Lions to be back in the same position next year.
Yeah, I loved watching Dan Campbell take the reins this year. He's a really good head coach.
All right, moving on to one of the more fun games of division weekend was the Rams and the Eagles. That game wrapped up 22-28, but really that scoreboard just doesn't tell the full story of this game, as the Eagles kind of just controlled this game down the stretch. Saiquan Barkley, 26 carries, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's been looking absolutely unstoppable in the playoffs. It's insane to think he wasted a majority of his career with the Giants. Like, what would he have been if he went to a team with a competent quarterback?
Right.
Jalen Hurts is obviously competent. He played a great game manager game here, 15 of 20 for 128 yards. That's nothing against him. Stafford played a pretty okay game, a little inconsistent in the accuracy category. What were your guys' biggest takeaways of this game?
I think Matt Stafford went out there and played with a lot of heart, but I think Saiquan Barkley, like you said, has been unstoppable really all season, but especially in the playoffs and especially in this game with over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played a really good game.
Incredible.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's like normal for him now.
Yeah.
He's been insane to watch this season.
Yep. Saquon continuously, week after week, proves why his release or just not re-signing of the Giants was one of the biggest mistakes they could have made. And also his acquisition from the Eagles just higher elevated the organization, after acquiring A.J. Brown from the trade and then picking up who am I thinking of? Their other wide receiver, my apologies. Then on top of that, Saquon. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do much. I've heard on and on again that Jalen Hurts can be a liability to the team, but week after week, Saquon's able to pick up the pieces, just doing a lot with a little, dismantling the team. Even with the Rams didn't have a terrible showing. They were banged up here and there, but Matt Stafford did Matt Stafford things, so it was a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on
Devontae
to
Smith.
what
That's his
everyone's dreading. The Ravens fell to the Bills 25-27, and we're all Ravens fans here. So this one hurts. It hurts a lot. You could say Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry, that's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'll edit that out. No, I won't.
That was about as painful as the game.
Yeah. Now, I do want to point out this game's biggest difference was a dropped 2-point conversion by Mark Andrews. But the Ravens, like, if I had just presented you this stat line and asked you what team you won, okay, I'm just going to do that. 416 yards to 273 yards. Equal amount of drives. One team had 7.3 yards per play. The other team 4.6. One team had 240 yards passing. The other team 126. Who do you think would have won?
Should have been the one with the better stats.
Exactly. Now, Lamar had a fumble, which wasn't entirely his fault.
Yeah, bad snap that ended up turning into a fumble.
He, as we talked about off podcast, he definitely needed to not carry that ball so loosely.
Yeah.
I understand he wants to be that playmaker, but sometimes you just got to eat a bad play.
Yeah, too loose with the football.
Yep.
And that bad snap could have been the difference of the game, because I don't think we allowed points off that interception he threw.
Yeah.
We did not.
So that bad snap was honestly the difference of this game.
That was really the momentum shift
Yeah.
when that happened.
Yeah. He also had an interception, which is completely abysmal.
Yeah.
Missed his target by a good 10, 15 yards.
Yeah.
That tends to happen.
Yeah.
But what I thought really stood out is he moved past those early mistakes and put his team in position to win this game.
Yeah.
And you don't see many quarterbacks doing that. 3 total turnovers, 1 committed by Mark Andrews as well. I'm really hoping to see Andrews back on the Ravens next year. I want him to have a redemption arc. I've forgiven him for his sins.
Yeah.
Unless I see a clip of him, then it just I have to start the process of grieving all over again.
Yeah. I would just like to say, for anybody that's giving Mark Andrews death threats over this game,
Good. No, I'm kidding.
it's important
terrible.
to remember that they're not just football players. They're also people with families. That's somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's father off the field. So I don't know. Death threats are just unwarranted. Shout out to the Bills organization. Their fans donated a whole bunch of money. I think like $100,000 to Mark Andrews charity. He does a lot of work for kids with diabetes.
I've also heard real quick, just to piggyback off of what you're saying. There's also been fans going after Josh Allen with death threats.
Really?
That is absolutely insane. Josh Allen isn't the reason why the Ravens lost that game.
Yeah.
3 turnovers is the reason why the Ravens lost that game.
Yeah, it's like we
a
just
drop
said.
pass, execution, that's the reason why we lost that
Turnover
game.
battles, everything in the playoffs.
Yeah. So,
Completely.
all respect to the Bills and Josh Allen. They played a great game for that game.
Yeah.
I guess the best thing to do here is just continue on.
Yeah.
Not much you can do.
All right, guys. That's it for the episode. No, I'm kidding. Coaching hires. We've gotten a couple coaching hires that have occurred since our last podcast episode. I think we've only covered the Patriots hiring. Who was that again?
Mike Vrabel.
Yep. All right, so moving past that, the Bears are hiring, which is crazy, former Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. I don't know if you guys looked into this at all.
I did not.
No? Okay, well, I mean, First thing I want to say is the Lions have such a powerful offense, but how much is that a testament to Ben Johnson, no offense, or how much is that is a testament to Dan Campbell?
Right.
Right.
So, fair point. Go after one of the best offenses in the league. Yeah, the Bears really struggled
Yeah.
on offense this year. Let's see if Ben Johnson can turn around the Bears organization. All I know is the history of the Bears is not beautiful.
Right.
No.
All right. The Jets have hired former Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. The Lions have been dismantled this season. Did you guys look into this at all?
I have not, but the Jets need as much help as possible.
That's
to
true.
Be frank.
Yeah,
That's
Jets
true.
are going to be in
The Jets have been
mode.
in a rebuild even to this day. They have been on a rebuild, especially with the probability that Aaron won't be returning, which he probably isn't. I doubt that he's going to be going back to the Jets. I doubt that Devontae Adams going to stay and whomever else they acquire. So this is a good pickup. I'm just wondering what they're going to do in the draft.
The draft, the offseason, that quarterback.
You're going to have to make a lot of big decisions moving forward.
Because there's also a possibility, from what I've heard, that Sauce Gardner, for some reason, might get picked up from the Ravens. I'm not sure where that rumor circulated, but there's a lot of possibilities.
I think
that the Jets are facing.
He's entering a contract year, is why, and it's just whether or not he's going to want to re-sign with the Jets that have had no aspirations to be above 500, let alone be a playoff contender.
Could they tag him?
They can, yeah. He can not sign it, but they can tag him.
Yeah. Just a quick message to Sauce Gardner, though. I don't know if you've ever had Maryland crab cakes before, but let me tell you, they're pretty good. And, there's some other stuff here, too, that you probably like. I mean, you should probably give it a shot at least, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Respectfully, I would much rather sign Sauce than to re-sign Brandon Stevens. Respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
The Jaguars, and I put fire on here, but I meant hire.
Close enough.
Jaguars hire former Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen.
I don't know much about him, but based on what I know about the Buccaneers, I don't know if I see that being a big game changer for them, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, like look at what he did with an injured Mike Evans, so Mike Evans wasn't out there.
Yeah.
Granted, you still have Chris Godwin, Look at what he did with Baker Mayfield, which we can all agree isn't an elite talent. I mean, he's good, but I think that's his ceiling. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe he can give that same kind of help to Trevor Lawrence, who's been struggling to find himself the past
I give him the benefit of the doubt. Trevor Lawrence definitely needs some type of boost over
there.
Yeah, something's got to shift.
He does.
Absolutely.
Saiquan, you have anything to add?
I was going to say Trevor Lawrence is definitely in a limbo state, especially off of his big contract signing, which some of us were agreeing to disagree because I was on the fence of who would they sign if they didn't re-sign him, and some of you guys were like he should have got paid enough that amount of money, which I agree. With this new coach in line, this is one of the moments where we have to see what is Trevor made of, because especially when he was picked up out of the draft, there were high hopes and aspirations. Since he got picked up in the draft, he's only been in one playoff. So this is it. We have to see what is he going to do with this new coach.
I understand. And just to quick throw it out, I don't disagree that they should have offered a contract to Trevor Lawrence. I disagree that they offered a huge contract to Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
He's not worth that. And we saw this season he's not worth that.
Yeah, we said that right off the bat, and it's proven to be true this season.
There's room to grow. But great points, Saiquan. And then Raiders are now hiring former Super Bowl winning head coach and former Seattle head coach Pete Carroll. This one is wild. I mean, this is truly the coaching carousel of dreams right here.
I mean, with the Raiders making all those moves with GM and all that stuff too, and I think they're probably going to still make some more big moves over there. I think this could be good for them. We saw what Pete Carroll did back when he had the Legion of Boom in Seattle. A lot of people are excited that he's in the same division with some of those guys now. He's back in the same division with Jim Harbaugh again. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid. Man, that's a packed division.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
Sean
what he
Payton.
can do. Yeah. Really, really high tier coaches over there, and I'm excited to see what he can build around Max Crosby, because me and Andrew have talked about it off podcast. I think he's like some of the only talent that they have over there right now.
Seriously,
You really got to build a defense around him, and I think Pete Carroll could do something with him. So
it's just when it comes down to it, I don't know if they need a win now head coach.
Yeah,
as Pete Carroll is. Pete Carroll's not a long-term solution for a head coach.
Right.
No.
The question is, can he turn around your team in one season? I think's not. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this draft has any great options at quarterback.
Right.
They don't have Josh Jacobs anymore. They don't have a running back. They don't have any weapons at wide receiver. Their best player is a tight end on their offense.
A rookie tight end at that.
Going in the second year. Come on. Put some respect on my man.
That's right. You're right.
But, yeah, there's always room for regression in players' second year. You're right, Saiquan. So their future looks very bleak. And I just don't know if Pete Carroll is the answer.
I think it's going to take a combination of things, but I think they're working on putting together the right plan over there. So we'll see how it shapes up.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. And then the last one, which is a very contentious one. I don't know if you guys looked into this either, but Cowboys promote their own offensive coordinator, head coach, Brian, forgive me if I butcher this, Schottenheimer.
Close enough. It looks right to me.
Yeah, I think that is right. Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer. This is very contentious. What did the Cowboys offense do this season?
Nothing.
Even with Dak, they stagnated.
Nothing.
One
of the worst seasons we've seen from them in a little while.
Cowboys fans aren't happy about this. When I first learned about it, I looked him up, and it was just like Cowboys fans are about to start rioting over who they chose as a new head coach. And I was like, ooh, trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's an exercise. When I get to 3, I want everybody to say what you think the Cowboys' biggest problem is within their organization. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ownership.
Jerry Jones.
Ownership, yep.
I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with that, and I don't think much is going to change over there until that changes, to be honest with you. We saw the same situation with Dan Snyder in Washington before he got out of there, and now look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a worse situation, to be fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have for head coaches. Moving on.
Did you...
Oh, what's up?
Before we move on, did you guys already speak about the Josh McDaniels situation?
And on the Dolphins?
No, Josh McDaniels.
My bad.
Going back to
him getting acquired by the Pats as the coach.
We did not talk about that.
Interesting.
I think that happened right after we recorded last episode.
Okay, yeah. He left the Pats, went to the Raiders, and the Pats picked him back up as a head coach.
He's not a head coach. He's an offensive coordinator.
Oh, even better. Oh, boy.
Right. Yeah, Mike Vrabel's the head coach.
Yeah, we talked about Vrabel last. Oh, I actually said it right.
Nice, there you go.
Yeah, we talked, cool. But yeah, he got picked up as offensive coordinator.
That's interesting.
Any 2 cents about that?
I mean, I don't know. Surely there's a reason they let him go the first time. Maybe
to become a head coach.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. I mean, they can't sink down much further. It only goes up, right? In theory.
Yeah, we're just going to have to really, at the offensive coordinator position, it's so contentious. We don't know what kind of talent they're going to have next year.
Yeah.
Right now, they're pretty low on talent themselves. They don't really have a wide receiver room that they can boast and be proud of. They don't have a running back room that they can boast or be proud of. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson's good, but he's not great.
Yeah.
I agree. He definitely struggled from the last weeks
of
the season. And then, Drake and May. There's potential there. We've seen it.
Yeah.
You just need to surround them with the right weapons. But they definitely have been rebuilding since 2018, 2019, in my opinion.
Yeah. And they probably will continue to.
Most likely.
All right, moving on. Conference championship weekend just concluded tonight. We finished the Bills-Chiefs game. Maybe. I mean, I just want to throw a number out there. 24 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But first, let's start with the Commanders at the Eagles game, which was, honestly, didn't expect this kind of turnout. I knew it was going to be high scoring. I just didn't think it was going to be so one-sided.
Yeah, I didn't either. And the Eagles really turned it up in the second half, especially. 21 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, it looked like it might be competitive at first, and it just...
I really, really wanted that Cinderella story of the Washington Commanders in the in the Super Bowl.
I did too. They're kind of my second team, to be honest. I loved watching Jaden Daniels this year. That would have been incredible to see him go all the way to the Super Bowl as a rookie.
Oh, for sure.
Just quick little stat read before we get into it. Jaden Daniels, 29 of 48. That is not the best. 255 yards and a respectable 1-1 ratio, touchdown to interception ratio. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, 20 of 28. That is a great game.
He played one of his best games of the season.
246 yards and a touchdown. Saiquan Barkley, 15 carries for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns, including an amazing touchdown on the first play from scrimmage for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz had a pretty decent game against his former team, 11 receptions for 104 yards. And, this game was just, honestly, from that first run Saquon had, I knew it was over.
Yeah.
I just knew the Eagles were going to win.
First play for the Eagles, that big run. I mean, Saiquan Barkley doing Saiquan Barkley things.
Congratulations, Philadelphia. You guys are back in the Super Bowl. Let's find out who they're going against.
Also, hats off to Washington and Jaden Daniels for all they did this year. They went really, really far with the rookie quarterback.
Oh, that's true. Do you guys have any input to talk about on this game?
Mike, do you have any input before I say anything?
Not too much. Just Washington could not keep up. There was a lot of penalties, too. And we saw the memes circulating about the back-to-back-to-back encroachment penalties in the red zone on the goal line. And the referee actually threatened that it could lead to an awarded score, which I've never seen before. So that was
It honestly
crazy.
makes sense. It's in my opinion, it's a little bit unsportsmanlike to be doing that in the first place.
It is. Yeah, that was a wild little sequence. I've never seen that happen. But yeah, they had a lot of. I didn't look at the number of penalties that they had, but they had a lot of penalties. Definitely didn't help their cause. I don't think they would have won anyway. The Eagles were a much better team, but a lot of penalties from Washington as well. They didn't play very disciplined.
Saquon.
Okay. From a Washington and both a New York Giants perspective, I would do a lot of self-reflecting after this game. From a Washington perspective, you made this far and no one thought you was going to make it this far, so you should be proud of yourselves, point blank, period. But at the end of the season, once again, you got to do some self-reflecting because most of the guys that are on your staff are going to be retiring soon. Most of these guys are in their 30s, if not close to their 40s, so you're going to be losing a bunch of guys. So you should make a bunch of acquisitions and signings. That way, guys can make it back to the postseason. Now,
good.
As a Giants perspective, I don't like the firing of people. I never asked for firing people, but I would be doing a double check for the GM. And once again, the loss of Saiquan Barkley. Because what right mind do you say, I would much rather keep the guy that took us this far versus the guy that didn't, in Daniel Jones? Respectfully.
And then get rid of that guy, 2 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
Insane. Literally insane. I am right there with you, Saquon.
No, I just don't get it. What on paper says Daniel Jones is a better and more proficient player than Saiquan Barkley, the guy that literally is the workhorse of the organization?
There is none. There is none.
And we've seen it time after time again where a guy gets hurt because they're carrying an organization. They go to a different team, and that team is elevated much. We see it with CMC. We have seen it with CMC, where he has left the Panthers, gone to San Francisco, and the San Francisco 49ers went to the Super Bowl. Now, to my next point, my follow-up point, for the Eagles, we cannot have a repeat of what happened many, many years ago. Because what are the chances that we see the Chiefs beat the same team twice in two different sections? But we will talk about that after we discuss this next game.
Yeah, whoa, jump the gun on me now. Cover Zero podcast. Nah, I'm kidding. All good. Just, a little bit of a encroachment, if you will.
That's right.
The Bills versus the Chiefs, as Josh Allen goes into Arrowhead trying to knock off Patrick Mahomes, and that's sadly what didn't happen.
Yeah.
This was an incredibly entertaining game. Incredibly entertaining if you like offense.
Yeah.
32 to 29. So 3-point game. Very weird score. Very weird score. I just don't know what to say about the play calling the Bills chose to roll out for every goal line set.
Yeah, they were not good at play calling in the inside the red zone.
They had a lot of opportunities, including Patrick Mahomes fumbling and botching a snap.
Yeah.
That would have been, that's a turnover that they created and were unable to capitalize on. Josh Allen played a pretty good game, 22 of 34, 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. It wasn't enough. The other hand, Mahomes, 18 of 26, 245 yards and a touchdown. It was a big rushing game for these teams. Kareem Hunt had 17 carries. Mahomes had 11. Josh had 11. James Cook had 11. It's just, man, this game killed me. I really thought Josh would have gotten it done. He's had that chip on his shoulder for a while now. Honestly, a lot of people probably think I'm a Ravens fan and I hate the Bills and I hate Josh, but I respect Josh because he had that same chip on his shoulder as Lamar. He wasn't supposed to be the best quarterback in the draft. He had accuracy issues. Like, sure, he's fun to watch, but he's going to be the next so and so.
Right.
But he overcame it, and I really wanted to see him in the Super Bowl, and he came up shy. There's always next year. And I'm saying that about the Ravens, too.
Yeah.
So,
No, for sure.
watch yourself, Bills.
For sure.
Okay, what are you guys' thoughts on this game?
I got nothing but love for the Bills and their organization and their fans, too. I like Josh Allen. I've always respected him. Pretty solid game today, like you said. James Cook had a really good showing, too. He really put the team on his back. I just think that play calling inside the red zone was just atrocious. I don't know. I feel like the coaching, if anything, might have been the weakness in this one.
Yeah.
The players were playing their hearts out. I mean, they were that close. I just think they didn't have it all together from a play calling perspective. So, Chiefs, being the Chiefs, always well-rounded, good coaching, good playing from the players. All their playmakers showed up as they always do. And, raise your hand if you're surprised.
To piggyback on both of you guys, I love Josh. He has been a great showing, and this season has been super duper competitive. I don't think we've seen a season like this where we wanted to root for everybody. We just wanted everyone to win, whether it was Lamar, Josh, Saiquan, Jared, me personally, Sam Darnold with his resurgence with the Vikings. This was a honestly great season. I have no complaints. I think Josh's thing today, feedback off of Mike, I think the play call was terrible. I'm not sure what it is about teams going to the playoffs and just switching up the agenda. We saw last year with the Ravens going away from the run, and we saw today with the Bills. We saw a bit where Josh was Josh, but for the most part, it seemed like he wasn't able to get loose and get free.
Yeah.
Today was another day for most. This is going to make it 0-4 for Josh, and I'm going to kill something. Not too many people have beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. There's only been 2. One of them's retired, and one of them's not in the playoffs anymore, and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I've said before, I know you guys have said before, we have to kill this narrative that just because someone hasn't won a Super Bowl doesn't mean that they're great.
Yeah.
Right now, there's about 2-3 starting quarterbacks who have made it to the Super Bowl, and only one of them is considered elite. One of them is considered wash, and the other one not too many people really talk about anymore, except for last week in Matthew Stafford. So this game was a really good game, especially for Pat, because I know earlier this season, Pat, this is possibly the worst season we've haven't seen. I believe he finished the season 25-11. But the Chiefs being the Chiefs in the postseason, they always make a way. I'm not upset about it, but as an Eagles fan, bring your A game. I can speak for majority of NFL fans. It's going to be heart crushing if not only the Chiefs beat the 49ers twice in the Super Bowl, but it's going to be extremely heartbreaking if the Chiefs beat the Eagles twice in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point about using the Super Bowl as a measuring stick for greatness, you've seen quarterbacks in the past also have sort of been a part of that same boat. And Dan Marino is regarded as one of the best of all time, and he's never won a Super Bowl. So I don't know. I think with the season coming to a close soon, we should all reflect on the fact that Lamar had a fantastic season. Josh may not have had as great of a season, but he's still out there doing his thing.
Fantastic season.
Really good postseason as well.
Jaden Daniels had a really good rookie season. Joe Burrow had an outstanding season.
Yeah, these guys are all balling and producing numbers, so you can't just use a Super Bowl as a measuring stick. If you look at Patrick Mahomes' regular season, it was not good. His touchdown-interception ratio was terrible. So, I mean, using the Super Bowl as a measuring stick for great quarterbacks is just...
It's a constant moving of the goalpost.
It is
what it is. People want to really push the narrative that their person is like the best in the league, right? That's why the measuring stick was to get to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Because like people were pushing like Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, right?
Yep.
And it wasn't even MVP, even though MVP is an individual award.
Right.
It wasn't Offensive Player of the Year or Defensive Player of the Year. Well, I'm trying to stick by a very strict, no, it's who's dominating in a season. It's who you don't want the ball in their hand ever.
Right.
When you're playing against them. Like, I'm scared when we play against the Chiefs. I'm scared when we play against the Bills. I'm not super worried when we play against the Eagles because of Jalen Hurts.
Right.
No offense to Jalen Hurts.
Right.
The big problem on their team, that's Saiquan Barkley. You circle his name twice. You want 11 eyes on Saiquan every play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I do feel like we're moving away from that more and more, as in, no, eliteness is playoffs. It's not. It's really not.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. We covered the Super Bowl matchup. Mike, do you have anything you want to say about the matchup in New Orleans in 2 weeks' time?
I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good one. I wish our Ravens were in it or any of the other teams that I was pulling for. But I don't know. It'll be a good one. I would love to not see the Chiefs win again, to be honest. I guess I'll be rooting for the Eagles.
Me?
Yeah, Saquon.
Apologies. Because I brought it up, with the last showdown that they had 2 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that the Eagles have to remember, which is a struggle for the Bills as well, is the turnover battle and ball holding. We all know the longer that the Chiefs have the ball, it's a problem, right? But in the same breath, once again, stick to what you're used to.
Yeah.
Don't have Jalen Hurts hold the ball for an extended period of time. Feed the ball to Saiquan, but don't feed him to the point where he becomes a broken mule. You have all these weapons on offense, the Eagles. Use them, but do not get into a shootout. Every time someone tried to get in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, we have seen it time and time again. It ends in the same result. Do not get frustrated. We saw it today, time and time again. People are getting frustrated with the refs. They're getting frustrated with how the game is going. Stick to the formula. Me personally, if I'm being honest, I don't want to be that guy. I have the Chiefs winning, but not by 2-3 points. I have them literally winning by maybe a field goal, if that.
Well, that is 3 points, but
3 points as in 3 scores. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't see it being a blowout. I see it being a close game once again. Similar to what happened last year against San Fran, where it was a back and forth, and then it resulted with a last-second score to end the game.
I personally am gonna double down on Saquon Barkley right here, and say that he's gonna be the reason why the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP. And I also think it's going to be a close game. I'm calling a 4-point game. Chiefs drive down, kick a field goal. Eagles score a touchdown.
That's fair. I think it'll be close, too. I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything, but I would love to see the Chiefs get blown out. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. All right. That brings us down to our last segment of the night. I know. You're sad to go. We're just going to do a little fun Super Bowl trivia. I got a couple questions lined up, right? You guys will both have an opportunity to answer. One answer. I don't want this to go on forever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And not all these questions are super easy. Some of these questions are easy. We'll start off with a very easy question. Which team has the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history?
I got it.
Go ahead.
Patriots?
Okay, Mike, do you want to take a guess?
Are you talking like actual like Super Bowl or like Super Bowl and like the old school titles that they used
just
to have?
Super Bowl wins.
I'll say Patriots too, I guess.
Yes, it's the Patriots.
Okay.
All right, this is a tie. I'll give you a point if you get either of the two teams right. I'll give you 2 points if you get both teams right. Look at that. There are 2 teams that are tied for the most Super Bowl losses. What are the 2 teams that are tied for the most Super Bowl losses?
I think I got it. Do I got it? Bills in San Francisco.
I'm gonna say shoot. I'm gonna say the Raiders and the Bills also.
It was the Patriots and Broncos.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God!
Wow.
Jesus.
We were way off.
Yeah. I threw that in there because like Patriots have the most wins and the most losses. Like that's insane.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I said Bills because they lost that
Yeah.
2-3 game like Super Bowls many years ago. Wow. Okay,
Yep.
I guess that. Oh.
All right. Which team? Extra points if you can get the year. But which team had the worst record to win a Super Bowl? They won, not to appear to win.
God, it was like a 9-8 team. I think. No, it was a 9-8.
I'll go. I'll throw out a guess. I'm gonna say the Green Bay Packers, and I'm gonna say
Also, extra points if you get the. To get extra points, you have to get the first part right. Okay.
okay.
But if you get the record right too.
I'm gonna say 7-9 Green Bay Packers in 2007.
Okay.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 8-6. 1989, and I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, I don't know. Has the Bears ever won a Super Bowl? No. Yeah, they have. The Bears?
It was the Giants. They won at a 9-7 record in 2011.
What?
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that in a million years.
And they beat the Patriots?
Yes.
Oh God.
Wow.
So
wait,
That's
what year
embarrassing.
did you say?
2011.
2011.
Eli beat, Tom
Yes.
Brady?
Yeah.
Oh
Twice.
my God! I didn't know that was
Yes.
the case in that Super Bowl.
Most passing yards in a Super Bowl game by one single quarterback.
I'm gonna guess
So it's one game. Just one game.
Drew Brees.
Okay. Saquon.
I'm going to say Peyton Manning.
It was Tom Brady. 505.
We suck.
Wait for it.
We suck at this.
When he lost to the Eagles.
Oh my God!
505 yards in the loss against it. It's all good. It's all good. Here's an easy one. I'll toss you guys a curveball. Longest play in Super Bowl history.
The longest play in Super Bowl history.
And yardage.
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh yeah, it's
Kickoff
gotta
return.
got to be that kickoff return. I would have forgot about it if Saiquan didn't say it.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's the Baltimore Ravens kickoff
Jacoby
return.
Jones,
Yep.
108-yard return.
Yep.
Most consecutive Super Bowl appearances by a team.
Consecutive?
Yep.
The Buffalo Bills.
Well, it's got to be 2 because nobody. No, you said appearances, not wins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. I want to say it's the Buffalo Bills because I don't know if it was the 90s or 80s. They lost like 3 Super Bowls in a row. Question mark.
Most consecutive appearances?
Yeah.
The Patriots. It's got to be the Patriots, right?
Ooh, nope. It's the Bills.
Damn it.
Let's go.
They went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost 4 Super Bowls
Oh my
in a
God.
row.
When was that?
I know my stuff.
The 90s, I want to say.
Jeez.
It was something like that.
Okay, and then the last question. So right now it's 2-3. Mike has 2. Saiquan has 3. I'll offer you guys a wager. You can put up points. If you get the question right, you get your points. You cannot put up points. You get the question wrong, you don't lose any points.
Okay. I'll
Mike,
put up
which one
both
do?
of my points.
I'll pick up all 3 of my points.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We're all in.
Yeah.
Last
We're all
question.
in.
Youngest
No
quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, that's
No.
got to be it. Who else could it be?
Is it? Ooh.
Well, hold
Is it?
on. The Giants won
Here, I'll
in
give you guys a little
2001.
help. Patrick Mahomes won his first Super Bowl in his 3rd year. He didn't start his rookie season. And his second year, he came up short.
Tom Brady.
Eli Manning.
No. It was Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Okay, and your final answer is?
My final answer is...
This quarterback would have won in his 2nd season.
Well, that's definitely not Eli Manning.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers?
No, it was Ben Roethlisberger.
Damn it. I knew it was somebody
What?
from that era.
Yeah, he won in his 2nd season. I know that from Madden.
That's wild. Well, Saquon won, I guess.
Nobody won.
We bet all our points. We're back at 0.
Yep. No winners, no losers. Just a firm handshake.
Well, I'm going to go to bed.
All right, guys, I'm going to bed.
All right. This concludes our episode of Talk Tua.
Let me tell you about our crypto coin.
All right. Seriously, we're about to start recording our Royal Rumble episode for Ring Talk. If that's something that interests you, please join. And if you made it this far in the video, you might as well leave a like because obviously you enjoyed our content. Maybe, I hope. And if you didn't enjoy our content, please leave a comment telling us why. This has been Andrew, Mike, and Saiquan from the Free State Sports Podcast, and this is our debut episode of Cover Zero. Until next time.
Deuces.
Peace.